For me, that this was my first senior championships, my first senior games, my first taste at anything at the senior levels. So it was definitely a surreal moment for me. I was just like a kid in a candy store, soaking up everything. Um, at that time, social media wasn't a big thing, but I was always a person to capture the moment. So I bought a camera during the Olympics and said I'm going to record the opening ceremony, and I wasn't looking forward for out for anything specific. I was looking to enjoy the entire moment, seeing that this was a surreal moment for me, being a little youth from Jamaica, at the Olympics opening ceremony. It was just very surreal, and every single moment of it was it was exciting. Just seeing the different athletes, and just seeing the NBA players, the footballers that you see on TV, seeing them in that same arena as you, and you guys can be considered that you all are Olympians, was just a very surreal and a very moment that every time I watch an Olympic Games and an opening ceremony, I just think about my first time being at the Olympics.
Yeah, I love that. And I can imagine, like you mentioned, it being your first senior event, your first senior team, your first senior moment. And now, so that leads me to talk about that major accomplishment, first senior games, first senior moment, and you won the bronze. What did that feel like?
Well, words still can't express how big it is, especially because that moment has not been repeated in our history, where all three of us from the same club, same coach, got 1, 2, 3. It's still a surreal moment to me. It's still a moment that gives me butterflies. It's still a moment when I watch it back, it feels like the first time I'm watching it. It doesn't matter how much times I watch that race or see that race or talk about that race, it still brings me goosebumps, and bring me to a place where it's just unforgettable moments. Um, yeah, so that was just a moment that I'll never ever forget. It doesn't matter even if I went to another Olympic Games and did that same thing again. That first time, we all know that the first time is always the best.
Yep.
And that happening to me, even though it was my only Olympic Games,
Mm-hmm.
and my only Olympic medal, that I think that made it more memorable for me. And the
Yeah.
fact that us Jamaicans still talk about that moment, even this is 3 Olympics ago. This will
Yeah.
make it 3 Olympics ago, and that's still an all moment for Jamaicans. It just left me with a lot of a mountain tall full of joy.
Oh, absolutely. Because so I was doing some research, and obviously we know Jamaica is the sprint factory. But I did not know that, and you touched on it a bit, that, the sweep was only done 3 times in our nation's history, twice by the women in 2008, and then again in 2020. And
Yeah.
you guys, the men did it in 2012. And so I just feel like kudos to you, because then to get the gold is amazing, and to get the silver is amazing, but to sweep the entire podium and to hear the national anthem.
But I think what people who don't know the sport or don't know the details of the sport, why is that so amazing, even special for us, is because all 3 guys were coached by one coach.
Yes, I saw that too.
So that's what was really special for us, that not only that we swept it, we were training partners, we were coached by the same coach, we trained the same place. So that's what made it extra special for us. That was like, okay, this is not just a cherry on the top. This is every single toppings that you can get in the store on this
Yeah,
cake.
amazing. Well, you cherishing that moment forever is absolutely divine. It's yours. So every 4 years, this is a story that you get to tell, and one that you should rightfully always tell. And so I want to talk about, now you've won the bronze, you've kind of, like you said, more than just a cherry on top, but you've completed that very special moment for Jamaica, for your coach, for your camp, and for yourself. And now you've moved into retirement. You announced your official retirement from the sport earlier this year, but you've been retired for some while. Tell me why it took you however long it took you to announce this retirement.
I think in track and field, at least just I would say vow out
Mhm.
without saying something. But why I think I did, because a lot of people always ask me if I'm still running, so people don't know if I'm just running, training behind closed door, or just trying to with a comeback. So people always see me and ask me. Another time I decided, like, you know what? I think I should do a formal, like, being that I'm in production, I should do like a nice video for a nice send off, because nobody will give you your flowers, or you can't wait for people to give you your flowers or give you accolades or just do nice things for you or even do a production for you. No
Mhm.
man will hold yourself at a high value like you'll hold yourself. So I said to myself, you know what? I'm going to do this nice video for myself. And I think it's very timing. Especially that I was already in the stage of family, but I was full showing to the world like, yo, this is my life. Can you just not ask me about why am I not training no more? So I think the timing was right. It was never a better time than the time that you want to do something. And I wasn't holding on to anything than I just didn't think about it. I just never actually realized that I've never actually announced retiring. I just left. And I think that happened mainly because during the COVID, a lot of things swept past. A lot of people were dealing with COVID, and there was more things more important in the world than just somebody announcing their retirement. So after COVID, I was like, you know, this is the right time, and yeah.
Yeah, thank you for that thorough and honest response, because I do think, you know, you touched on so many important points. One being that we have to celebrate ourselves. Nobody's going to celebrate us better than we celebrate ourselves, and nobody's going to hold us to that value and standard. And also touching on the role that COVID played in your life, but, you know, naturally the entire world, you know, experienced this pandemic. And so that leads me to segue to talk about how has your journey, you know, in athletics and then accomplishing essentially the highest feat that one can accomplish outside of just a gold medal, but getting to the podium at the Olympic Games. How has that journey shaped your point of view as it relates to, you know, dealing with hardships, navigating challenging circumstances, and especially outside of the realm of track and field, but more so now in retirement, you know, being a husband, being a father, a business owner, just being, you know, multifaceted, doing so many things, and experiencing life on a whole. How has that journey shaped your point of view and, you know, how you navigate things?
So I would always say track and field is one of the most roughest things I've ever done, and it's also one of the most it also requires the most discipline. So being that you're on a schedule that nobody will tell you to wake up to train. Nobody will say, "Listen, man, you have to make these times or make that." There's somebody there, but you are your own person in this sport, and especially in track and field, where it's an individual sport. You're not lifted up by a team of footballers or basketballers that if you fall short, they can chip in. So that
Mhm.
definitely guided me and shifted me to where I am today in the sense of being a father, being a husband, and as you said, all those stuff, because everything you learn doing sports and doing your journey in being an Olympian, it definitely resonates with life after track.
Mhm.
Whether it's setting the schedule for the kids or being disciplined or managing your affairs, or your finances, everything in life revolves around. In my life now, basically, it was I feel like I did track and field just to mold me to be a better business owner, father, friend, and everything, because every single accolades and not accolades, every single attribute of sports
Mhm.
and getting to the top of the getting to on the podium or even getting to the Olympics requires so much, and
Mhm.
those things definitely transfer over into life after sports.
Thank you. And so one of the things that I find fascinating that does not get, I think, enough focus or emphasis are the Olympic rings and what they signify. I think a lot of people, when we think about the Olympics, we just think about the games themselves, the different sports, the athletes, the anthems being played, and the torch. The torch is significant for a lot of people because it's that burning flame.
Yeah.
But for me, I was thinking about the rings. They sit there so mundane. And I just had this idea to kind of look into it a bit. And it's 5 rings: red, yellow, blue, green, and black. And they sit on this white background. And based on what I read, they're interlocked, and they signify unity and harmony of the nations, working together, and peace. And I want to know how, like, if you can find 5 words to align with the rings and what they signify and how you apply it into your life, 5 words that you could share with somebody else to apply into their lives, when it comes on to challenging circumstances, and trying to get to the height of their career or the height of their life, the height of a specific goal, but pushing through the way an athlete does, or more specifically, an Olympian.
All right. So definitely, I would say dedication,
Mm-hmm.
because self-explanatory. It takes a lot of dedication. Even when the Olympics started, just to say we're going to keep our Olympics, we're going to get all these countries together. That took dedication from whoever was planning it, and it took dedication for Olympians to get to this level, and it takes dedication to just get anything moving. So I would say dedication, unity, trust. One word I'll use is coachable. A lot of people kind of leave off coachable in a lot of things, but we have to be coachable in every single thing if we want to move forward, because no one person knows everything.
Mm-hmm.
And it takes a village, it takes a country, it takes a universe to mold champions and just people in this world. That's 4. And I will say for Jamaicans, I'll say vibes.
Vibes, I love it.
I would say vibes because you have the vibes and the one has nothing.
Yeah, that's true.
So vibes for our Jamaican heritage.
Oh, absolutely. I love that last one, specifically because I think, like, even my personal journey, a lot of times on my track to success or working towards something major, big, and something hard, I forget to have fun. And so I love that you included fun in it.
So a
Um,
lot of people, I tell a lot of people, I think one of the reasons why I medal at the Olympics and did so well,
mhm,
because first I had nothing to lose and I was just going there to enjoy myself along with working hard. But
yeah.
I was vibes in, I was enjoying myself along the process. So I enjoyed every single moment of the Olympic Games. There's no bitter moment for me. So even if I never even medal, I still had great moments there that I cherish and bring into life after track.
You having said that, just vibing and just enjoying every single moment, I have to ask though, when you realized that you were going through the rounds, you made it to semis, and then your time made it to the finals, what did that feel like? Because you said you had nothing to lose, but coming into that realization, like, damn, I'm doing the thing. I'm doing what I said I came here to do. I'm getting to a level that I wanted to achieve for myself, but wasn't necessarily placing pressure on myself to achieve. But what did that feel like?
All right. So for me, outside of my circle, everybody knew that the medal was obtainable just because
Mm,
we did our homework, we did the calculations, and we know that the medal was in reach. It's just for us me to go out there and actually um produce that performance. So as I said, when I said nothing to lose, I meant that if I came fourth or fifth, nobody expected me to the medal than myself, so they had nothing to lose. But
mm,
there's more to gain from it because I wasn't a prospect medalist, so there's more to gain from it than to lose. So I went in there with that. Is that a lot of people don't understand that when you're going to these places with so much pressure on yourself and not enjoying those stuff, you end up are putting such a heavy load on your body that you're not as free as you want to. And we all know as adults know, we all enjoy the work when we love it.
yes.
They always say when it doesn't feel like work, you
Mm-hmm.
actually you do work at all, but you earn. So for me, I was enjoying the process. while knowing what I could have achieved. Because as I said before, we already did there. We never went to the Olympic blinds. We went in there, we did our work with preparations, and I was up in the rankings. It's just for me, just not to show my hands before the
Mm-hmm.
time, and Olympic was the best place to show my hands. So that was one of the key things for me, is just to go in there, have fun, don't show your hand too early. You know, we all want to go to an interview and get the job, but we don't want to show our hands too early. You know, we always call it about I always say it's not the Jones effect, but you always keep one. It's a bullet effect. You know,
Okay.
you unload the bullets as goes by. So you're not going to come into a sales pitch and tell them every single thing. You leave back something, and then when you're about to walk away, now you just give them that one thing that will close the deal, and that was the Olympic medal for me.
You dropped a lot of gems. So you said, be calculated, be prepared, but don't show your hands too soon. I love it. And also not to pressure oneself when we're, on trajectory to something great. And I guess to kind of lead towards, closing out this interview, you mentioned that part about not showing one's hands, but yourself and your camp having an idea that that medal was attainable. And
Yeah.
so, having been in the field, literally and figuratively, having been in the spot, what are your predictions for your specialty, that 200 meters? Who do you think will make the top three?
All right. So I don't make predictions. I don't like predictions, simply because simply because it's the Olympic Games. There just could be an warring where that nobody expected to be out there. So nobody. I never make predictions. I always tell people who I think are going to do very well.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't really make predictions, simply because that there just could be an warring where out there
Yeah.
that we don't notice, but he's out there working. And then
Mm-hmm.
if I make a prediction now and somebody say, "Oh, you see, you don't know nothing," so I just normally enjoy the game.
Yeah.
But I definitely see it being a battle between Noah Lyons, the both Americans, which is Noah Lyons, um, Kenny Benderick, and also the Tobago from Botswana. And that's the three that will actually battle it down. But
Mm-hmm.
I always tell people, you cannot sleep on the grassy once he's fit. If he's fit, he's ready. And we
That's
all
true.
saw what happened in Tokyo, where Noah Lyles was a favorite, but here comes this man called Degrassi,
Yep.
leaving with something. We all know this. If he's fit, he's not going on without a medal.
That is absolutely true.
So
Um,
those are my top four.
yeah.
Whoever they want to battle it out, but somebody in the four is leaving without a medal.
Mm-hmm.
I hate to say it, it will happen, but there's only three medals, unless they tie and equal tie and they share the medals.
Yeah.
But somebody's going home crying.
Well, they would have enjoyed their experience and journey, I'm sure, just like you mentioned.
Yes.
Um, and so finally, uh, if you do have one, like when you get into a slump, even as a creator, a creative, you're doing productions, you're doing all these things. And we all have those moments of, mental weakness, or we just feel drained and unfulfilled. Do you have a favorite quote, a favorite motivational quote, or even something that you went to the Olympics 12 years ago with? Like, do you have something?
So for me, I always, if I'm in a slum, most times I just um I always write it out to make it, because for me, sometimes my slum is just the fact that I'm just doing so much, I get fatigued, and sometimes I just chill and just let it pass. It's just probably my body just telling me that, Warren, you just need to make your creative juice get a rest. But sometimes for me, it's just going back and looking at things that I've done in the past, at an early age when things weren't, well, like it was taboo. Like me going to the Olympics and doing a vlog when it wasn't even a vlog. I just look on myself as give myself that type of motivation to say, Warren, come on, do that now, because look at that video you did way back then. It's now a trend. It's now something that people do, in terms of not just athletes but big production companies do it, big sporting company do it, and that's just one thing I just always look at myself and say, oh, listen, maybe this thing I'm delaying now will be the next thing that will catch on in the next 5 years. So yeah.
Thank you. And lastly, if there is ever one other than yourself, favorite Olympian of all time.
Herb
Your
McKinley.
which one?
Herb McKinley.
Okay, Jamaican
Simple
Gold.
because there's a backstory to it. Herb McKinley, I was recruited to Calabar, my alma mater, by Herb McKinley. He was supposed to be my coach, but when I came to Calabar, he got a stroke. But
Mm,
regardless, he to be recruited by a man as great as Herb McKinley.
yes.
That means that he saw your talent, he saw what you could have done. And the whole
Mhm.
thing about it, I was just sorry that he could not see me at the Olympics getting a medal. But
Yeah,
regardless, he was watching above, and probably he was one of the ones. He was one of the ones who was lifting me up when I was feel
yeah.
like I was dying during the rounds at the Olympics. But definitely Herb McKinley.
That is a story. Oh my gosh, I did not know that. But that is a story. So you met the Herb McKinley, you were recruited by him. That's
Yeah,
amazing. Well, thank you so much, Warren Weir. Big ups to you. Congrats again for completing that sweep, getting that bronze, lifting Jamaica to, a different status. It's just more than a gold, silver, but getting into that very elite crowd of having a sweep. I think
yeah,
the US, the UK, Sweden, and like two other nations have ever done it. The US obviously having more sweeps than everybody else,
yeah.
but
But that's us being the small nation
yep.
makes it. Yeah, I think our
Mhm.
sweep are more tremendous because we're just a small nation
I
and
agree.
producing the sweep. And yeah,
No,
but
yeah, I
thanks very
agree.
much.
Thank
Thanks for
you.